everyone, and welcome to WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday. Can everybody hear me? Can you see me okay? Tonight, it's Wednesday, and it's all about wealth. And come on in so we can get started. So, come on in, come on in. Let me check out who we're excited to have you here. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. And for those of you who hang out with us every Wednesday night on Wealthy You Wind Down, well, you know exactly what to do. Good evening, good evening. I want you to also, because this is Wealthy You Wind Down, grab your favorite glass of vino. And, for those of you who don't imbibe, water, sparkling water, whatever you would like. But tonight, I like to have a nice glass of vino, relax, and have a conversation about wealth with all of you. So, I'm Deborah Owens. I'm founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we teach Black women how to build their first investment portfolios to seven figures and beyond so that they can achieve the level of financial success that they desire and that they deserve. And so every Wednesday night, we come on and we talk about topics about wealth. And in addition to that, many of you are in the Wealthy You community and you've been attending a lot of our wind downs and the many trainings that we do. And for those of you who are members of the Wealthy You Society, and for those of you who have been longtime members, welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me just begin. Let's set the stage for everyone. What am I drinking this evening? Well, actually, I'm drinking a blend, a red blend, and it's quite tasty. I know often I'm drinking my Cabernet Sauvignon, but I thought I'd change it up just a little bit. So in the chat, let me know, what are you drinking this evening on this Wealthy You Wind Down Wednesday? So let's get started. I want to set the stage. And so for those of you who are newcomers, let me just give you a little bit of background on Wealthy You and why I founded Wealthy You. After spending several years in the investment industry, it became really clear to me that far too many Black people in particular had no access to investments. And I didn't come from any type of wealth either. And what I began to really understand about the financial markets and investing is that this is something, learning about the investments and the financial markets is something that you typically will learn either from a family member, or if you have invested, then you have a trusted advisor. And so one of the reasons that everyday people, of course, my being a Black woman, recognize the challenge that so many Black women, but it might as well be a gulf. The fact is we have a lot less assets than our counterparts. And one of the reasons for that, I believe, our 1 million Black women to achieve $1 million in net worth. And what I really like to share is the fact that it's not about, I believe, can fundamentally change our communities, and that is the knowledge that happens when women go on this journey. 5, they're for 6, they're for 7, and some are now running for 8 figures. And it all begins with knowledge, but more importantly than that, access. And so, when I launched WealthyU in 2015, I had no idea of the kind of obstacles and impediments that are put in front of people when they go to get some kind of access to investment advice, or they reach out to these investment companies. But because of the way that the financial services industry is structured, if you don't have enough assets actually receiving help, are kind of slim to none. So how many of you can relate to that? In the chat, let me know. How many of you can relate to that? And so that opt in so that we can actually see your comments. And if you opt in, we'll be able to see your comments. I'm going to try to check some of your comments out the old-fashioned way on my iPhone, but actually reached out to an investment company, and I was on a call the other night, and one of our WealthyU Society members said, yeah, it's exactly how you, and nobody ever got back to her. So here's what I want you to know is that the only thing standing between you and access to the investment markets is the knowledge to know how to, and that's exactly what we teach in WealthyU. So just to give you guys a little background, I'd love, love, love to hear, if you guys have experienced that same kind of situation, right? Like you've reached out. And so each week on Wealthy You Wind Down, the goal is to really give you access to knowledge and information around how you can accelerate your financial growth. And often that is through knowledge, right? And the knowledge of the knowledge of how to invest, the knowledge of how to open up your first investment account, how to leverage what many of you have through your employer, your retirement plans. And so those are the conversations that we have on Wealthy You. Now that I've given you a little bit of background, I want to talk about what the topic is tonight. And so I want to set this up a little bit for you because, it's interesting. One of the things I do as a wealth coach is I actually meet with people one-on-one, do coaching sessions, as well as have kind of group coaching sessions, strategic coaching sessions. And people often wonder, how am I able to kind of get to the point and actually help people to find the answer to whatever situation is blocking them from achieving the kind of financial success they desire. And so this happened a couple of times this week where I was on calls with members of our society, and one in particular was kind of frustrated because they had been in the same role. They had been trying to get more opportunities to get promoted, and the doors kept shutting. And so one of the things that the topic today is really about how you can leverage your ambition and your knowledge to achieve financial success and turn that ambition and knowledge into wealth. And so at the heart of it, the question that I want to ask is to all of you is, what is the unique value that you bring to the marketplace? And so in Wealthy You, the framework for all of our work is the 7 wealthy habits. And the 7 wealthy habits are the attitudes, beliefs of financially successful women, people too, men too, but that leads them to financial success. And when I did the research for my book, A Purse of Your Own, I isolated these 7 attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors and coined them as the wealthy habits. Now, fundamental and the most fundamental aspect of the habits and the foundational habit is the first habit, and that's a wealthy outlook and the habit of adding value. And so, folks, here's what I want to do. I want to let you in on a secret. And the secret is that your financial success is directly related to the value that you add out in the marketplace. So true wealth, whether you believe it or not, really is about you creating value for others. And when you can create value for others, that really is when people want to respond to you either with compensation, with their jobs that, how many of you can relate to that, right? Like when I mean, foundationally, if you think biblically, it really is what the Bible says is true. It really is better to give than receive. And so a lot of times, and in fact, on the post that we made on this topic about what is the value that you bring to the marketplace, someone somehow equated that with greed. And it couldn't be further from the truth. So tonight, what I wanted to kind of double click on and to help you understand, in Wealthy You, we talk about mindset, strategy, and execution. Like those are the three, that's the process through which you can, identify and overcome any type of situation or any type of goal. And so tonight we're talking about what is the value that you can create in the marketplace that can allow you to turn your income into wealth. And so I wanted to just share, a little bit about that strategy. And oftentimes when I'm, coaching people, what you don't realize, and I want you to write this down because I want you to be able to reflect on this for yourself, because it's an aha moment that I had very early in my career. And here, you want me to let you in on a secret? So here it is. You have everything you need to become and do everything you need to be. I want you to get that. So you already have what you need. And oftentimes what we're doing is we're looking outside to find it, right? Like we're looking for someone to choose us. And what I want you to understand is that your unique experiences, good, bad, and ugly, lessons that you learn, the innate gifts that you possess when you came into this world, that's how you create value for others. But what I want you to understand is when you really begin to understand what your dominant gift is and serve with it, that is the secret. Okay, so here is a recurring situation. How many of you can relate to that though? In the chat, let me know. Can you relate to that? How many of you can relate to the fact that you know that there's something that you have that's special? Or let me just say this, sometimes you don't even know it's a gift because you think everybody has it too. But the fact is, your unique experiences, the environment that you came up in, the roles that you have played in your life, they give you a unique perspective that you can bring to the marketplace and achieve phenomenal success with. That's what I want you to understand. And here's why it's important. Oftentimes when I'm coaching people, I ask them a lot of questions around, their prior history, what do they do really well? And then what we have to do is think about mindset. And so the first thing that has to happen is they have to shift, right? And that first shift, do you know what it is? It's that whatever you focus on it expands. And here's what I want you to know, and I've been guilty of this too. Whenever things aren't going our way, or we feel like we're just hitting every obstacle and doors keep shutting, the tendency is to think about what's not happening for us, right? So I want you guys to get this. And the most important thing you need to understand is that whatever you focus on expands, right? So if you're thinking about everything that's not happened right for you, everything hasn't gone right for you, everything that you've done wrong, then the first thing I have to do, number one, mindset, is I need to get you to shift to all the things that you've done well and that you've done right, because that's the shift we need to that's the what we need to shift from. We at Wealthy You, we call that shifting from, a income mindset to a wealth mindset. In this case, it's really shifting from a fixed mindset, meaning everything is happening to me because I don't have any control over it, to a growth mindset, to saying I have everything I need to do and be everything that I need to be. Are you guys getting this? Because that mindset shift is imperative. And so the next step in making that mindset shift, so now we got to come to strategy, right? So if I'm going to make my shift, and I know you guys are saying, well, lady, what does this have to do with wealth? It has everything to your ability to create wealth. When you begin to think about your unique experience and your unique position right where you are right now, and what opportunities you can create for yourself, then you've made that shift, and now we can talk about strategy, right? So I want to go to strategy in this regard. When I talk about your unique, we all have unique gifts and talents and ways that we can create value in the world. And so the next part of strategy is really, the question is, how do you identify what your unique gift or talent is? How do you find out what that is? Now, I know there are a lot of different tools that you can use that maybe you've had through your job. There's DISC, there's Strength Finder, there are all these different things. But I read a book, and it just really, really stuck with me. And the name of the book, the book is by a gentleman, Gay Hendricks, and it's called The Big Leap. And in it, he talks about you identifying your unique gifts and talents. And one of the easiest ways to do that is following these three steps. So I want you to take it down. I didn't think I was going to be teaching tonight, but whatever. Many people in the WealthyU society, they're accustomed to this, right? So the first questions that he says you need to answer, and this is so true, and it's, what specific skills do people compliment you about? You see, that is the secret. Like, sometimes we don't know what our gifts are, but like, one of the ways and one of the points I made on a post today was that you can identify what you need, how you create value in the marketplace, because people and clients will tell you. They will tell you how you made an impact in their lives. And so you need to really begin to listen. And a lot of times, here's the other thing, when people give us compliments, so many of us were taught to be humble, particularly if you came from a Christian household. A lot of the teachings that we were told, I can remember my mother, the tape I have in my head is, think you're better than anybody else, never think you're better than anybody else. And so oftentimes when we're given compliments, we'll shrug them off. And because we're shrugging them off, we're not listening. Who can relate to that? So I want, if you are listening to me right now, I want you to really think about, what are the compliments that you continue to receive from your colleagues, from your, co-workers, and from friends, because that is one of the clues to the unique gifts and talents that you bring to the marketplace. You guys see where I'm going here? All right. Now the next thing is, I want you to think about, what is the thing that you are doing, task that you're doing, when you lose sense of time, and space. Like you lose sense of time. You may shake yourself and you might say, oh, I didn't even know I was doing it this long. And actually, you can do it for a long time and it actually gives you energy. That is one of the clues, if you will, to what your unique gift is and how you can create value in the marketplace. And then thirdly, and finally, what is your first memory of you really feeling a sense of purpose in your life? If you'll begin to dig into those three things, you're going to begin to see and identify how you are wired and how you are gifted and how you can create value in the marketplace. And it's when you create that value that is really the secret, right, to finding ways to then earn income, right, and then turn that income into wealth. In the chat, let me know, is this making sense to you? Is this making sense to you? And so I want to kind of segue back, right? So I started out just talking about the conversations that I'm often having with people when I'm coaching. And so at first it started with mindset, right? Having them shift for everything that they did wrong, all the doors that are closing, to what are all the things that are, that the unique skills, the unique gifts, the things that I can do. Because here's what I want to say. For far too many women, and Black women in particular, you are settling, right? So you may be told no, 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 over and over again. You see people being promoted, and you'll just sit in that place and you think that either you're not worthy, right, of it, or you think having a job is better than not having one. And here's what I want to say clearly, that can't be further from the truth. That whatever you accept, you're going to get more of. And so the strategy is you being able to articulate how you create value in the marketplace, right? So going back to a conversation, see, I'm getting excited, y'all, because coming back to a conversation uh, that I had this week with someone, this is exactly how it went. First, me listening, seeing that, oh, they're thinking about everything that they haven't done right, and we gotta have this mindset shift, right? Strategy. Okay, let's talk a little bit and think about, what are her unique gifts and talents? How can she create value in the marketplace, right? So strategy. And then, okay, now that we know what your unique gifts and talents, let's go find some other companies who are competitors who are going to see that value and see everything that you've done in your existing role. And now you're going to show how you can create value for them. Is this making sense to you? So that's strategy. But the most important thing, if I can say this, folks, is execution. Are you with me? Because we can come to a strategy, we can have that mindset shift, we can create a strategy, but unless we execute, nothing happens. So here's the really, really cool thing about this. And here's what I want you to know, and what I had to get this person to see. And that is, whatever you accept, you will get more of. Somebody needs to hear that. Now put that in the chat. I want you to just ruminate on that for a minute, because this is the secret to success, right? Like, whatever you accept, you'll get more of. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you apply for an opportunity and you keep applying with an employer and they don't promote you What do you have to do? Tell me, what do you have to do? You got to get yourself up from that situation, and you have to find the opportunities, right? You're going to have to go find another opportunity. So, what I'm saying that whatever you accept, you get more of. If you sit where you're at, and if an employer feels like you're not going to, they're going to just do their good little job, I want them in this role, this is the only place that I see them, then that's all you're going to get. Do you understand this? And sometimes what is required is courage. And what that courage means is that you cannot be afraid. And in fact, the best thing you can do for an employer is go somewhere else and get a new offer. And if you like the situation that you're in, being able to say, you know what, I really like to stay here, but I have another offer in this role. Will you give me this opportunity? If not, keep it moving. The most important thing you need to understand, folks, is that familiarity breeds contempt. I want you to get this. Familiarity breeds contempt. Now, if you, because sometimes, you know, people only see you in a certain way. And so people only, like maybe if you grew up and you know this, right, just from friends that you've grown up with, and maybe you go away and you come back, which has often happened to me when I've we've lived in several places in the country, and then I go home, and people still see me as that homegirl from Detroit, right, who they used to hang out with and whatever. And so they don't see how you have progressed or how you have grown. They only see you in a different way. Sometimes employers, they hire you for a role, they only see you as in that role, and they don't see you taking on leadership or more management roles. So what is required is that you have to go plant yourself in another garden where you can flourish and grow. Is this making sense to you guys? All right. Is this making sense? Because over and over and over and over, I have these coaching conversations. And coaching is not where you're telling people what to do. You're helping people to discover the answer. But you know what the most important thing I've learned from coaching people is that the answer is usually hidden in plain sight. I mean, sometimes you're sitting 10 feet away from gold and you have no idea because you're too close to the situation. I mean, I know it's happened to me, and that's why I have coaches, right? Because sometimes they're like, "What are you doing, man? You got this, that, that." Like your programs, they're cut above all others, but I don't have any perspective. So I need someone to come in with fresh eyes and take a look so that they can then see the opportunity, the diamonds that are, right there hanging in front of me. And here's what I want you to know. We all have it. We all have it. You have everything you need to be everything you need to be. Do you guys get that? You have everything you need to be everything you need to be. But what it requires, and that's what we focus on in WealthyU, mindset, a shift from what I don't have to what the opportunities are and what the possibilities are, right? Strategy, let me take a look at what I already have and how I can reposition. And here's the other point I want to make too, is that the marketplace is forever changing, right? And so what's important is that we evolve too. And so what may have been attractive pre-COVID, right? Like, you had think about all the jobs and all the roles that were no longer needed COVID. People aren't going into offices, so you don't have people greeting them. all of the things that people needed to do to make a facility run, because you've got a lot of people in it, never an opportunity. So what do you have to do? You have to make a shift, right? And that shift means that you have to adapt to the marketplace. Listen, this technological age that we're in, you can go to college, get a bachelor's degree, and by the time you come out, everything that you learned is obsolete. And so, what is required is for you to lean in and begin to think about how the skills, excuse me, how the skills, the experiences, and the opportunities you already have can be adapted in the marketplace. Is this making sense to you? All right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And so, we started with mindset, right? Making the shift, strategy. Okay, where am I positioned in the marketplace? What are my unique gifts and talents? Gave you some strategies around, 3 strategies around how you identify those gifts and talents and those opportunities, right? And now that you've identified them, now what's important for you to do is to look out in the marketplace and see who is who who values the unique value that I can create. You guys, and that is how you find the opportunities, increase your income, find different ways that you can, can serve and create value in the marketplace. And one of the things I believe as well is that COVID has taught us, not only save for a rainy day, have an emergency account or any of that, but also the need to not be dependent on one source of income, right? Like the need to not be dependent on one source of income. What is required? And so now the other thing I want to talk about is how you can take those skill sets and those unique gifts to create other ways that you can make income. And clearly, in this virtual world we're all in, the fact that I'm coming to you tonight from, from our home studio and talking to you about, these opportunities, really are ways that you can create multiple and not rely on just income. So, getting back to the story, so mindset shifting, strategy. Okay, where am I positioned? And so one conversation that I had this week, making that shift and really seeing all the value that you can create, and then actually going out and looking at what are other organizations or companies that will value my services, and then you're going to position yourself. I'm amazed at the number of people who aren't leveraging LinkedIn. LinkedIn has over 800 million people, employers, and everyone who are looking for your services. And so one of the first things that you need to do, whether you're a business owner or whether you're an employee, is that you need to have on your LinkedIn profile exactly how you create value in the marketplace so that you can begin to attract that opportunity that you want. Now, here's the funny thing. So I'm having this conversation with one of our WealthyU Society members. We go through this strategy session. We mindset makes the shift, identify what her unique opportunities are, who are the other people in the marketplace who are competitors where she is, who would see how she could create value. And literally by the end of that day, she already had somebody reaching out from one of the competitors that we'd already identified as an opportunity for her. And so the point that I want to make really tonight is that so many people are struggling. And the reason that you're struggling is because you think you can figure it out on your own. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned in my own life in the past 3 years as an entrepreneur is that no one achieves anything on their own. Particularly if you've been, the one person who's maybe had to figure things out. Maybe you were the first in your family to get a college degree. Maybe you were the first in your family to have a professional degree or a professional role or to go into senior management or whatever that is. And the truth is that we're all blazing new trails. And, we often compare ourselves. I know I did. I compared myself as an entrepreneur. Like, how come my company wasn't growing as fast as those other people? I had the same degrees, I had the same corporate career. And, I want to tell you this story because it became so integral to my pushing my own self to get coaching and consulting around how to help me achieve this mission of helping 1 million women get to $1 million in net worth. It was not until I was really willing to seek out those people who had already had the kind of results that I had to achieve and to make an investment that I saw the growth of this company grow. And so, true story. I belonged to this women's business organization, and I would go to all of these events, and I would see these women, making multi-million. Many of them started when I thought had started when I had started. And then I went to this event, and all of the women were on the stage, and they said we've got women up here and you can learn from them. And so as the person was going down the line and interviewing them about how they were able to achieve their goals, I would say that out of the 7 women who were on that platform, do you know what 6 of them had in common? In the chat, just tell me, what do you think it was? What did 6 of them have in common? I'm going to give you just a minute to guess. The interview went through, yes, and so tell us about your organization. How did you grow? Oh, well, my father started this business and I took it over and shifted it here. Next person. Oh, my husband started this business and then he went on and I took it over and started it. So 6 out of the 7 people on that podium had inherited that business, or it was a multi-generational business. And do you know what I learned from that? What I learned was no, they didn't start from scratch. They weren't self-made, right? They had already, somebody had given them the blueprint. Are y'all with me? Somebody had given them the blueprint. I didn't have anybody in my family who was an entrepreneur and who scaled a business. I mean, my father had a cab company, but he owned a couple of cabs, but he never scaled. There was never any structure or anything handed down. And so here's what I want all of you to know is that you're comparing yourself oftentimes to other people and wondering why they are having success and you aren't. And all I want to tell you is this, is that you can measure a person's success by their ability to ask, seek, and invest in help and counsel, right? So in my own case, and I'm being totally transparent here, first time I invested in coaching, had a little bit of progress, not a lot. But in fact, but the truth is that for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, so much of the advice and the information that I sought, I was getting from theorists. Either I'm not going to call out these organizations, but typically these organizations would provide me with business counsel. But the truth is, none of them had really ever built a business, so all of it was theory. And so it wasn't until I started to seek counsel from people, number one, who were first generation, right, and had built a business and scaled it, and then had scaled and then had built a business to the level that I wanted to scale. Are you guys listen? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So what I want you to understand is that in order for you to not only create value in the marketplace, but to also be able to experience the kind of financial success that you desire and deserve, you've got to put yourself around people who are achieving that kind of success yourself. Now, in WealthyU, we use the quote from Nipsey Hussle, who said, "Are you in a circle? When you look around, are there people just like you who you're inspired by, or are you in a cage?" And so that is my question to you. So, in closing, right, we went through the whole point of this conversation, WealthyU Wind Down, really was about how you create value in the marketplace and turn that value into wealth. We talked about mindset, the fact that you've got to shift from thinking about what's not happening for you to what unique opportunities and unique gifts and talents that you have. Helped you give you some strategies around what those are, right? How you identify that is, what is the things that you're complimented about? Uh, what is the thing that you can do for a very long period of time? And what is the thing that you can do and you lose sense of time and space? So that's a clue. And then finally, execution. So that is your marching order. If any of this resonated with you, now it's time to execute. Do you need to go on LinkedIn and update your profile? Do you need to join a community like WealthyU with like-minded women who are on a mission to achieve their first seven-figure investment portfolios to seven figures and beyond? Come on in. We welcome you because we are a circle of sisters who affirm one another. And then finally, you got to execute. And that means you've got to go and seek out the counsel that you need so that you can achieve the level of financial success that you desire and you deserve. So thanks, guys, for hanging out with me on WealthyU Wind Down. I'm Deborah Owens, founder and CEO of WealthyU, where we're on a mission to help 1 million Black women build $1 million in net worth. That's going to do it for me this evening, everybody, and good night.